Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is the Walking Dead Junkies Podcast. This is a brand new series that we're going to start adding on because we've gotten just a lot of messages. People want to talk about different Walking Dead topics, and I want to do this for all of you because we know the spoilers, we know the predictions, we talk about different things throughout the week. We used to do our Sunday morning stream was Chill with Kills, a lot of gaming, just some random conversation. We may ramp that up as well, but I wanted to reserve this time slot at noon. Seems like a good time for everybody. Hopefully we'll get just a really good group and a lot of interaction here. So some of these ideas are suggested by you. I get them via Kick, but this is going to be a little deeper topic. First of all, it's no secret Carl dies. There's no saving Carl at this point, but with the title, Carl's Cure, what I wanted to do is go back and talk about some opportunity that I think the group could have had to further their knowledge of walker bites, maybe protection, maybe some defense mechanisms, and it's going to take all of you getting involved and coming up with a pretty good theory. You know, I know we're sort of racing against time here with Carl. I want to thank Scott Kernan with a super chat donation. Yes, I am ready for it. Scott wants to know if I'm ready for the mid-season premiere. Absolutely. I know it's going to be sad. I know there's going to be a lot of reminiscing, going back and seeing those moments that we forgot, especially with, you know, a lot of people watching the marathon. And I've not went back and watched a lot of the old episodes, and I will. I'll catch up with it. And, you know, I'm staying abreast of my comic book readings as well. But what I want to do today is I want to dig down a little bit and talk about the walker bite. I want to talk about some things that have happened in the past. What makes a walker bite so lethal? The virus that evidently everybody has and how they're potentially holding the virus, and how the neurosystem continues to operate at maybe a heightened or an advanced sense with this virus that's out there. So I'm going to throw a couple speculations out there. I'm going to walk through a little bit of a timeline, and here's what we do know. A walker bite will infect you. So what does that mean? It means it has to be something in the teeth, the bacteria in the teeth, and that is generated through the brain of the walker, right? Because if a walker grabs you or scratches you, does some of those things, it's not going to have the same effect. So, but if you get shot and you die, the walker state almost seems like it is between life and death. It's not quite death because there's organs that are still operating. So why is it that, so if you get shot with an arrow with walker blood on it, you die. So there has to be some chemical that is created. So if the group knows this, where is our advancement? Let's put ourselves in the group's shoes here. So this is a group that has went through Terminus, bad people, the prison, the governor, bad people, the scavengers initially, we thought bad people, the saviors, bad people. So they can't even get a breather. And what I want is like some time, some attention to be dedicated to finding a cure so the Carls in the future don't die via walker bite. So, Scott, and that's a good question. We will not know if eating walker blood is infectious. And I know that sounds gross, but I do want to touch on that. Because I'm going to say it's weird because it might not be. Remember, Richard had the pigs eat all the walkers. And what happened with that? I mean, I think some people got sick, but not like people were just mass turning. So I guess in theory, you could eat a cooked animal, or in theory, I guess you could eat a cooked walker. What am I doing to people on Sunday? There's got to be cannibalistic groups out there as well. Well, we know there are. Well, there you go. You could eat I guess we'll go back to Bob. cooks off the disease. So to really go back to identify the blood, I think it has something to do with either the bite and some chemical. Or maybe Kirkman's just going to figure it out a little bit later on. But you know what? I've been thinking about it because I want to figure it out before. We still have time. If we can figure out a cure between now and 9 o'clock tonight, Carl is not going to die. So this is your mission. Give me a hand with this so we can all save Carl and get it to the writers before 9 o'clock tonight. Okay, so here's the other part of finding a cure. And we're going to talk about several different things today. We're going to talk about what creates the virus itself, how the walkers continue to function, what we accept, and what is unbelievable, and if the group could have done a little bit more. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. And if you guys could, just slap the like button. It's going to be a really deep conversation today. And this is a brand new podcast we're doing. I know a couple people tuned in a little bit late. It's going to be the Walking Dead Junkies Podcast. We're going to get together and talk about just a whole range of topics. I know people want to know past topics, present topics, future topics. People have messaged me and they want to talk about Shane. They want to talk about Merle. They want to talk about Sasha. They want to talk about so many different things. So this is going to be an opportunity that you guys can send me the messages the prior week, and then I'll pick a topic, and this is what we're going to talk about. But since Carl is the hot topic right now, I know we're going to talk about Carl tonight. We're going to watch Carl tonight. But really, could we have found a cure for Carl? Bob O'Cube. I see where you're going with that, Stephanie. That was bad. So, fresh walkers are a little bit more energetic. So if someone recently died, they're coming at you hardcore. But the walkers that have been walkers for a little while, they're slow walkers. Kind of like limpers. Thank you so much, Aiden. I love you too. Appreciate you being here. So, what continues to feed the bone structure? Okay, walkers can't see. But we assume they can hear in a distorted manner, right? It's either tones, pitches, something makes the walker, either the tone of your voice, like Daryl had a deep voice, or a high-pitched, or something. So I think if we take this all of this information, we can either find a cure or find a serious deterrent. We know that walker guts keep them from biting you because they don't eat themselves. So they can smell, they can walk, so they have motor skills. They try to talk, but they can't see. Interesting. Or can they see? Or can they see a little bit and they're just so dumb that they see, but then they smell the walker guts and then they leave you alone? Happy birthday, Harold Fernandez. Thank you so much. So they see like a bat. So let me, several people got the notification late. Petey, there are no surprise streams. Let me announce one more time. And this is something that I've been sort of mulling and came up with and actually put this on the Patreon site and let some people know. This is going to be a brand new podcast that we're doing Sundays at noon. So your Sunday schedule is going to be pretty crazy if you can make them all. So Sunday at noon, we're going to be doing this. 8 o'clock on Sunday night, we're going to be doing our countdown, and also we're going to be doing our reaction videos. So those are our Sundays. And during the week, just plan on 9:30, and we're good. So Diane Estes says they can see. They've gone after people after seeing them. So I'm really confused. But here's the thing. If you stab a walker in the brain, it ends, right? But it doesn't matter what part of the brain. See, this is where it gets a little bit dicey for me. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe there's this part of the brain that, there's parts of the brain that produce adrenaline and different amino acids. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm just telling you what little bit I know about the brain. But if you hit any part of the brain, the walker dies. It's not like you got to hit the medulla oblongata or the cerebellum. It's like just stab them in the brain or shoot them in the brain, and it just all ends. So, brain to the teeth. So, is it possible that the brain has been distorted to a point where it's creating like a venom? It does, right? Okay, according to the CDC, it's the brain stem that reanimates. Okay, I'll give you that. Some of you have been watching the marathon. That's why I have you all here. Daryl Dixon says, stab them in the heart so they can't. Well, what's happening here is this chemical is also relying them to, or allowing them to live with less blood. And, I mean, I'm assuming that they're not producing as much blood. It's got to be doing like a lot of different things. Okay, there's Emmy. Emmy's our resident neurosurgeon, so she says that the brain is firing off basic functions, like biting and eating. Like primal instincts. But, okay, and pardon me being extremely lewd on a Sunday. Eating, breathing, all those things are basic instincts. But I never see a walker trying to reproduce with another walker. And I think that's a pretty basic instinct. So that part of the brain is not kicked in. I don't want to dig too far into that because it's going to be like, we're going to turn this into a really controversial chat. But I'm just saying there's some things that they don't do. And that's an instinct like even in animals. That's a good question. You never see Walker like going up against a tree saying, "Hey, I just had a good deer meal. I got to relieve myself." I want to keep it clean, but I also want to really dig into the psychology of a walker bite. And my question is, as we get to the bigger picture, why are the group not thinking about this? Where's Rick? Rick is the leader. Get everybody together and say, you know what, Eugene, we have to find out how to save these people. So instead of going out and saying, we're going to negotiate this and this, the group, and we talked a little bit about this the other night, what is the purpose of living if it's temporary? And, well, that's stupid, sorry. All living is temporary. I missed my point there. You know what I'm aiming for. What's the point if you're not striving to solve a problem, I guess? So, and I'm going to tie this into Eugene. Eugene might be one of the few people that wants to find a cure. That's why I put Eugene looking over Carl's shoulder in the background. See that? I was being creative. And And see, I'm going to read a lot of your points. So if you guys are new to our live streams, we talk about a lot of different things. Number one, there's a lot of people here, a lot of new people, if you guys could slap the like button. However, people don't see everything that's streaming, so I will call on random people. So if you type something, it's going to be a part of this video. So Andy Bain says, when they eat, they're not as aggressive. It's a good point. P.D. Wheatstraw, they likely just accepted that people that turned just can't be brought back. Okay. Possibly, although I did read an article today somewhere in Russia about transhumanism, which is where you cryogenically freeze someone. Maybe they died or something happened and they get cryogenically frozen. This is real. This isn't, Walking Dead. But then they think that maybe 50 years or 100 years down the road that they'll be able to unfreeze them and then cure whatever illness they have. So maybe Petey, but there's other people that think that could happen. So let me take Mogar the Champion's comment here. Thank you so much, Mogar, for the super chat. And he says, hey, Kills, I read an article where Kirkman said The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad take place in the same universe. Could the blue sky meth be the source? I am going to defer that question to people that I have a confession to make. I never binge watched Breaking Bad. I know you guys are going to hate me for it because I should have. I binge watched Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, so I can't answer that question. So I'm going to leave it to some of the Breaking Bad fans that are actually in the stream. I see some people saying it could. What's up, Shannon? Thanks for being here. What the what? So Caleb's saying that could be what caused it. So if it's in the same universe, I understand, Daryl. I know Breaking Bad is one of the best shows. It's just my schedule's always been a little tight. There's only so many shows you can focus on. And I do want to do Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I'll catch up on it at some point. So Mogar, I like the question. Kel, if you could do me a favor, just screenshot that question. I want to research it a little bit more. So I might not be able to give you an educated answer at this point, but I will research it, Mogar, and I'll get back to you on that. And then I'll at least have a thought. But I gotta dig in a little bit more. Sorry about that. I'm getting slammed right now for all the people that know now that I've never watched Breaking Bad. But yeah, they're killing me. But we will get an answer. So let me go back to why it's important. Yeah, Denise, that's not really what we're talking about right now. But yeah. So Eugene can be important for the future. If Rick changes his perspective. So not only is this Carl situation going to affect the immediate, but it also could change the perspective of what the show decides to do. So let me dig down with that a little bit further. A person dies that's been there for a long time, and then at this point everybody looks around and says, could we have done more? Could we have done more defensively? Could we have done more to prepare for something? Everybody's going to question. Could we have negotiated more? Could we have had a ceasefire, stop fighting a little bit more? To look for a cure or to better the situation. And there's just not a lot of people out there who want to invent and create and do things like Eugene. So Eugene's role can be pretty important going forward. Because what we've done is a lot of us have been sort of trapped into living, right? We're like Rick. We're like Daryl. We want the squirrel. Let's get the squirrel, let's eat. And then maybe we'll find another squirrel tomorrow. But what we need to do is we need people like Eugene to get us to the next level. If the man can make bullets, if the man can make little mini bombs, maybe with Dr. Carson, a couple other people, there's a little bit more data that's out there. That's all I'm saying. And we still have 9 hours to find a cure. Daryl, here's the thing. It's not a PG channel, but if you're randomly typing a lot of cussing and you have to think about typing it, it's just one of those things that it's probably unnecessary. There's emotion and reaction, and then there's like, oh, damn, I'm sorry, something happened. But if it gets to a point where it's like, it's just, that's it, then it's, it's just kind of, it's wasted. It's wasted on the context of what you want to say. Hopefully that helps. And the other thing is it's going to flag it. So when they flag it, then the moderator's got to unflag it and blah, 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 and do all of that. So if you just kind of type your thought, it kind of gets us to your thought and your point. Make sense? So anyway, just keep it somewhat respectable. I mean, the mods are going to give you a little bit of a break. It's just, they just don't want to be like reading through all the crap in order to get to the point. So here's the deal with the group. What is something besides Eugene? And we can just dismiss the smartass Joey. Bye, Joey. Thank you. You will not be joining our chat in the future. I mean, it's not what we do, man. Okay? Done. Let's think about the group as a whole. The group has been bouncing from place to place. What have they created? What have they invented? Because I want to talk about the productivity a little bit. Not a thing, right? But you know what, Denise? Jadis invented freaking Winslow. Jadis had time to invent a machine. A fighting machine. What has the group made? What have they done with all this time? And they've been relatively safe. The scavenger's been on the run. I mean, they've grown. They've scavenged. But they are also 20 minutes outside of D.C. And there's got to be some good stuff up in D.C. They did. Okay, so we'll approach that. Ashley and Steph both said they made a community. An unsuccessful community. Didn't last. We need some permanence here. Cisco Miki, 100% Carl died, 105% Carl died. Ha ha! You think Jadis feeds that thing? It's a good question. Well, Jadis isn't going to be doing a whole lot of... Winslow 1 and number 2 are down. Hey, her invention could not take down Rick. But the bigger point that I'm saying is they were looking of ways to make their lives a little bit easier. Whereas I think in a lot of cases, Rick's group they're kind of stumbling onto things and taking things. So, numerous adventures for supplies, brought some people back. Yes, there will be therapy tonight. We will have a countdown at 8 o'clock. We'll also have After Talking Dead, when everybody gets a chance to see Chandler on the show and a tribute to Chandler. We will do that after. So I'll check the exact times. It's probably going to be around midnight when we do it, though. Exactly. See, Diane, that's my point. That's what I wanted to hit on a little bit earlier. Maybe Eugene, Dr. Carson, a few of these other people can get together and start looking to the future. So some of the people coming in late, so to answer the question is, there's not going to be a cure for Carl. But Carl's situation should spawn the group to look for a cure or to look for something besides living. We know living is only going to get you a year until some barbaric group comes up and takes over again, whether it's the Whisperers, whether it's Commonwealth, whether it's whoever. That's not going to get you to your end point. They're not going to get big enough guns to fight everybody off. You're going to have some leverage. Not everybody, even the saviors, some of the biggest, strongest saviors are dead. So if you're going to survive the next wave of the zombie apocalypse, you've got to have some leverage. You've got to bring something to the table. And there certainly has to be people holed up in D.C. And as we talked about the other night, could it be that they need to stop going to these heavily populated areas? Atlanta, Washington, D.C., but then they're right outside of Washington, D.C. So might be time to go to Fargo, like somebody said the other day. Or to kind of zoom in, zoom out, and then just find a bigger picture. That's just what I think. Why do you think the group has not spent more time, other than the fact that they've been fighting a lot, the wolves, the heaps, everybody, right? Why do you think the group has not spent more time looking for a solution? They have had some time. That's a good point, Diane. So Diane says there has to be so this war needs to end without everybody killing each other, because there's going to be no one left to find a cure for. They were hopeful until they got to CDC, and they saw a lot of that fall apart. So they just kind of given up. Abraham, Rosita, Eugene gave them a little bit of hope. So Daryl says the show's more interesting when they keep moving on the road, in my opinion. I do think so. I think Alexandria's sort of bogged down a little bit. Supplies, they want to save on supplies. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to stockpile. So Tanya says they have to have safety and supplies. And I agree with that. But it seems like every time that's having an adverse effect, because every time they bring on a new group, there's always one person in the group they don't trust. And then there's always a bigger group than them, and you don't know what's lurking around the corner. Josh Russell says maybe someone will die and not turn. Could be some antibodies out there. So I think part of it is why have they not, is all of you have hit some really good topics. One, they're trying to build up before they look to the bigger picture. But also I think that there's some egos, and didn't Greg Nicotero kind of allude to this a little bit? That the egos, and it's a strong group, they don't know who they can trust, they're in disagreement. maybe they don't know what the priority should be. So let me ask this question. Let's put ourselves in a position of the saviors or the kingdom. Why have those groups not looked for a cure? Same reasons? Because the sanctuary seems like a pretty decent outfit. It's a good point. Deborah Cox says Father Gabriel may have the answer and don't know it yet. He might have survived. Could have been something different, but maybe that is something. So Tanya says kingdom's trying to survive and sanctuary is looking for people to work it all out. Ron Moore, both groups just trying to survive. Scott Wise, whatever happened to her rot? She's floating around. Yes. So this topic, and I knew it was going to be a fairly deep topic, so maybe in the future, the leaders, Rick being one of those leaders, maybe Maggie being, Maggie's having a baby and she's going to bring her baby into this. She's going to see Carl die from it. And you can't build a normal community. So as the leaders start to come together and develop the show, the question I think they should start asking is, would you like to work together to find a cure? Would you like to work together to find a better life? Not, do you have any pork and beans? We need those beans because we need to live for another day. What food do you have? We're going to take it. And we're going to need leaders who will be able to communicate that. Funny thing is, Fear the Walking Dead tried to do that. Maybe we didn't like them. Maybe we didn't like that they were testing zombies, walkers. But they were most certainly trying to figure it out. What's up, Charlie? Hey, I want to do this. I figured this was a little better time maybe for you. I'm not sure. We're doing all random times, so we should be able to get a stream that everybody can jump in and be a part of. Very true. Yeah, I guess the Maggie situation might sort of take care of itself. I like that. See, Emmy, our resident neurosurgeon, just said, fighting for the future means finding a cure. And once again, I don't know why this notification didn't go out to a lot of our regular subscribers, but I do want to say Sundays at noon, a brand new stream we're going to be doing is called The Walking Dead Junkies. We're going to take a topic. Today, I wanted to tie it into Carl's situation because we know Carl's dying tonight, and that's going to be very emotional. And as I was thinking more and more about it, I wanted to think what events led up to this, because Carl's is just kind of like an innocent action that led to this. We know the violence is out there, but how long is it going to be before Enid gets bit, before Judith gets bit, before baby Gracie gets bit, before baby Herschel gets bit, if that happens? And we're always going to be overly protecting. I mean, you got to protect the kids to get them up to a certain point because they can't protect themselves, and then you just get bit. and it all ends. So Scott has a statement. Go ahead, Scott. Let's see what you got, man. And Epic Vids. Kirkman said he would never do the cure because it would be mythology breaking and has been overdone. And Epix, as a follow-up to that, I would say, do you think that Gimple would push for a cure? Or, as some people are talking about, the comics outlive the show because the show is catching up so fast, so they do take a completely different role. So what do you think about Epic's comment and the fact that they could find a cure or leave it hanging, or, you know, one of these, you know, 3 or 4 seasons down the road, that's a possibility? It's a good point. Pete M says, you know, Walker's blood in people's mouths and had no effect on them. All right, so Epic Vids, I want to comment on that. I want to get the group to talk about that as well. And also, Scott Kernan says that this is how All Out War will end, the realization that the Walkers are the true enemy. Instead of fighting each other, they should fight the Walkers instead. That is what Rick said in the comic. And that's absolutely true, and I think there will be a variation of that in a weird sort of way over the next few episodes. Because there's some pretty hardcore evil going on right now. Yeah, that's what is confusing. It's because you can taint the weapons with Walker guts, right? And then people get infected. So it's a weird sort of virus. It's like nothing we've ever seen before, which is why we can't figure it out. I'm going to equivocate it, though, to like Venom, because we definitely know the bite. The bite is 100%. You get bit, you're gone. And it kind of spreads. So it has to do with the brain. So we know it has to do with something, some chemical that is formed in the brain that can be transferred through the teeth. But I'm not sure how the whole tainted weapons thing's working out. So with that being said, sadly, the inconsistencies in how the Walker's virus play out is going to prevent us from finding a cure for Carl. So, as we know, we are going to be mourning the loss of Carl tonight. You can see the difficulty. However, what I would say is that let's not stop giving up, because I do think the show is going to go in that direction. And then the tie-in to that, where I take it full circle, is going to be people were saying that Eugene is not redeemable. Eugene will not be accepted back in the group. I think Eugene is going to be an untapped resource. When all is forgiven, all said and done, I would strongly expect Eugene and all the cool little things that he's done while he was with the Sanctuary to become a big part of the story going forward. That's just what I feel. I think Eugene's going to be out there looking for neat little inventions. He's going to be the real scientist. And the point is, he couldn't do it before because he didn't have the resources. So maybe with more people, a little bit bigger group, if they can stop killing each other, then we'll get to the point where everybody has something to give, and we'll start figuring out a little bit more of what their capabilities are. So with that, we're going to wind this podcast down. I think we'll keep them at 30 to 45 minutes. I want to thank all of you. If you missed a little bit of it, if you guys can just watch a little bit of the playback, make sure you slap the like button. When this video goes live, leave some comments. And the one thing that I would ask all of you, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, whether it's Shane, whether it's Merle, whether it's Maggie, if it's not something that we normally talk about in the breaking news, you can send it to me. If you're on Kik, K-I-K, you can send it to me at K-I-L-Z-H-O-T and say, hey, Kills, I think this would be a great topic for us to talk about. PD sent me something that we're going to talk about later on in the week that I think is a pretty good PD bomb, a pretty good theory. But these are going to be, this is the Junkie channel. This is going to be where we get together. It's going to be very casual. All of your ideas, we can talk about whatever Walking Dead related stuff that we choose to. It doesn't just have to be what's going to happen tonight, because we will have a time and a place to talk about that tonight. But obviously the dedication, this is for people that just want to take it to a whole different level. I'm going to learn from a lot of the people that are going back and say, hey, Kills, I caught this in a CDC, or did you know that Kirkman said this? It's just another chance for us to sort of get together and throw some ideas and some topics out there. Thank you so much. Sorry for that YouTube did not notify everybody a little bit earlier, but I'll post the invite a little bit sooner, maybe 4 or 5 hours in advance next time, but just 12 o'clock on Sundays. Mark your calendars, plan to be there. Thank you for everything that you guys do. My name's Killshot, and if you're watching the playback, this is the closing credits. All I'm going to do is shout-outs from here to the end of it. If you're still in chat, then type in 999, and I will give you a quick shout-out. And if you're brand new, subscribe. Join us every single week. We love to have new people, new ideas, all of the above. So thanks so much, Scott, Hippo, John Russell, Tammy Sifford. Daryl, what's up? It's Kilzhot, yes. Emma McCalick, thanks for being here. Sheila Beasley, Sushi Cat Gaming, Ron Moore, Maggie Bonacorda, Rubelos Channel, Crystal Gilliam, Daryl, Mogar the Champion, iRock6, Diane Estes, Janet Pearson, thank you so much, or I'm sorry, Janet Person. Messed up her name, sorry. Little makeup call. Andy Bain, Nicholas Hodges, Pete M., Denise Hopkins, thanks for being here. Walani, Edith Murphy, Gina Crockett. Thanks, Gina. I got her name right. Ashley Miller, thank you for being here. Valar as well. Tommy the Sweet Ass Enforcer McCandless. Petey Wheatstraw. Hey, I want as many Pete's as we possibly can. Janet, I only did it because it was streaming really fast. Rick Grimes 12. Kicks Her Life, thanks for being here. Emmy Desiree Bacon. Steph DeCuervo Queen Richardson. Kel Says Smile. Kevin Howroyd. What's up, Kevin? Thanks so much, man. Double slash. You know what? I don't even, or double dash, I guess. I don't know how to say your name. It's just a couple symbols. I will call you the artist, the dash formerly known as Prince. No, that sounds insensitive. That's bad. I was just a play on his logo, whatever. Don't hate me for that. John Brody, what's up? Thank you. I'm not going to say your name because it's a very tacky spelling. I like the 999, but yeah, it'd be a little bit more cool if you didn't have that name. Oh boy. Don Machiavelli, what's up? Everyone get ready for tonight. Also, don't forget, 8 o'clock tonight, we will be doing our countdown. If I missed you in a shout-out, I apologize. I will catch you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to you all soon, and have a good afternoon. Peace.